Here's why attractive women are less likely to get married. In order for a marriage to work, you need to be incredibly forgiving and show a lot of compromise. Now, because attractive women are surrounded by men who are constantly making them promises, whenever her partner's behavior is fallible, she believes that she doesn't have to put up with this because there's men willing to give her everything that she's ever asked for, even though it's not true. And as a result, she becomes less tolerant and compromising and more likely to walk away every time things are becoming difficult. Second reason is throughout the course of a marriage, they tend to desire their woman less and less. Now, attractive women, they find this transition very difficult to deal with because they're surrounded by men who are almost tripping over themselves to tell her how beautiful she is. When she's with a man who slowly is becoming indifferent to her appearance, she finds this very difficult to put up with. So instead of accepting that this is a natural process, she'll simply replace the man to receive the same validation that she's used to receiving all the time. And as a result, she's less likely to settle down.
Okay, so let's get into this. First, if you've made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. Okay, one key factor, the first factor I think is they have too many options. And it's just the decisions that they have to make when it comes to men coming at them can be kind of paralyzing mentally and overwhelming, and it kind of engulfs them emotionally because it's every time they go out, every time they online, every time they on just social media, anything, men are just coming at them left and right, and so it just ultimately throws women off and keeps them distracted. um and another key point is they think they have more time all the time. And what I mean by that is that soon as a decent guy kind of comes around, they have the notion in the back of their head, oh, I have more time to settle down. I have more time to, continue to entertain. Maybe it's another guy out here better than this guy. And that's solely because there are just so many options for attractive women. And the thing is, and another third key point I want to make is that the standards rise unrealistically for these women. And what I mean by that is that as they are dating these guys, the standards get higher and higher, and ultimately what they are trying to get or attain from these guys. And first it goes to a man making six figures, then it's a man making high six figures, then it's a man above 6 feet, making seven figures, and it just ultimately continues to feed their egos and in the pursuit of ultimate happiness or ultimate fulfillment that they want to get from the man they ultimately want to choose. And the independence of a real attractive woman, it oftentimes removes the urgency. And what I mean by that, if she's attractive and she is independent, making her own money, the urgent feeling that she normally would have to, okay, well, maybe I should find the right guy and not be too picky and make some compromises, that urgency kind of goes away. And it ultimately, kind of keeps them sidetracked as well. And another point I want to make is validation replaces replaces relationships. Like they feel they need to be validated in every single thing they do. And the career, the self-focus, all that comes first. And then the marriage feels like an option. The settling down feels like an option or something that they can kind of pick and choose as if they were, going to a car lot, and you have the money to buy the Mercedes, but you may want a BMW or a Lexus. You have the options, they are out there for you. And this ultimately can throw those women off emotionally, and kind of their preconceived notion about reality. It kind of takes them back, and they are so focused on all the options they have, and then that's when time starts to catch up with them. And men who can access these women easily, they delay commitment. And what I mean by that is that the very attractive women that can be bagged by the high value guys, those guys oftentimes delay committing to those women, although they are attractive, because the men ultimately know, okay, she's attractive, but I'm chasing after something else that everybody else wants too. And it's fun in the moment when I get it, but at the same time, a real man has a common sense, a overall good logical perception of I have to hold on to this. And a lot of men are weigh the pros and cons. It's like, okay, well, if I get in a relationship with this very attractive woman, is it worth me trying to keep my money up, trying to keep my bag up, constantly worrying about her talking to other men, constantly worrying about men coming at her, constantly worrying about am I going to be able to maintain my foothold or whatever, how I obtained her in the beginning. And for a lot of men, that just makes them very reluctant and have that fear of committing to those attractive women that they ultimately can get. You know, when I'm speaking of the high value men that can get these men, and then the leverage drops faster than expectation. And this goes back to what I was saying about the leverage. It's age, time. When you get in your late to mid 20s, things change. And then when you get in your 30s, things change. And when you get 40s, if you haven't found the right guy, that mindset most of the time with these women does not match their age. And so they end up thinking that, oh, hey, I'm still worth this. I still can obtain this kind of guy. I still can obtain that kind of guy. In all reality, that's not true, because the high value, rich, powerful men that are promiscuous and want to play the field, they are not interested in women their age anymore. They'll want to date the younger women, younger minded women that are a lot easier to get along with. Most of the time, a woman that's, even though she's good looking and she is older, most of the time she is hard to deal with. She is very disrespectful. She don't respect men, and that's just what it is. And so that's where hence the bitterness come in. And that's where a lot of this modern day dating stuff comes in. The older women online talking nonsense to the younger women, poisoning their mind, and ultimately putting them in a position to where when they get their age, they will be in the same position. You can still look good, you can still have the six figures and this, that, and the other, but you are lonely and you sad, carrying a lot of regret, anger, and bitterness towards men that you dropped or fumbled along the years. And the attraction and the compatibility is overvalued. And that's the thing, like when they are dating guys, even if they date down, if they say the woman a 9 or 10 and she decides to date a 7 or 8 man, the attraction is, it just don't weigh the compatibility. Like, she is super attractive and he is not, and then what happens is that is off balance. You don't have nothing in common. It's just it comes into a lust thing of, you know, the looks. He's doing all he's trying to do to hold on to you solely because of how you look, not because of what kind of woman you are, not because how you respect him, not because any of that. So at the end of the day, those are my perspectives when it comes to why a lot of attractive women are less likely to get married in the long term if they don't come down to reality and make compromises, and, you know, ultimately try to find a nice guy instead of looking for the 10 of the 10s out here in the world. But like, subscribe, let me know what you all think. Please comment down below. Everyone have a blessed day.